I'm not ready. Is that a surprise? No, not even a little bit. Not only that, I can't even do what I wanted to do because there's just no way that's going to happen because of the table that I'm using. So it's not going to be batch die cutting. I'm going to be doing some paper cutting and doing some stamping. And I didn't even bring any markers, believe it or not, to do this. I am not at my house, so I have limited supplies as to what I have to use. They went all the way back down. Hold on a sec, I gotta walk down the stairs to get this. Hold on, hold on. What? No, it's all right, I got them. All right, oh, sorry about that. I'm back. So I also don't really trust my iPad to stay where it is. But hello, everybody. If you would please let me know where you're coming in from. So I'm going to be sitting here making stamps and stuff. And hey, Amira. Hi, Mary Alice. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Doris. Hey, everybody. Did I miss anybody? Nope, that's the 4. Oh, hey. I know, right, Amira? It's like every time, every stinking time. There's just no time that I'm not just... Oh, goodness gracious. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Virginia. Oh, hi, Mary. I got 2 Marys in here. So I got a Florida Mary. I've got a Virginia Mary. I know that New York is in the house. I know that another Alabama's in the house. Doris, I forgot where you're from. Hey, Connecticut. How you doing, Chris from Connecticut? Hi, Stacy from Alabama. That means I have 2 Alabama. Oh, you know, if these pop-ups don't quit, this is going to be just cray-cray. All right. So, I have questions in my chat that people asked during the thing. So I'm going to sit there. And I have yet to take the advice that I was given where I sit there and take 3 deep breaths before I start this so that I'm not so when I get there. Yes, Chris, welcome to the Chatty Crafty Guild. We are a great group of people. We're fun-loving, and we are silly, and we are really supportive, and we really care about crafting. How am I? I'm stressed because like I said, I'm not at my house. I remember a couple weeks ago when I didn't have internet and I had to go to another friend's house. Well, I didn't mention that friend lives like 2.5 hours away from me. And so I'm at her house again and this was scheduled to be at her house. And so I'm using her internet and everything. And so I don't have any of my craft supplies around me except what I brought with me. And so, yeah, here I am. Let's see, take a breath now. Daisy. Hey, Daisy. You're new too. Welcome to the Chatty Crafty Guild. Amazing. This is too cool. All right, so I have to get to my questions because I've got some questions that people have already asked me, and then I will get back to the chat and I will see if there are any other questions in there. And if what I'm saying jogs a question in your mind, just put it in chat, and I will. When I get back to chat, I will look at all of that so that we can. Where's go to channel? Oh, YouTube and I don't get along sometimes. Chatty Crafty. That's not how you spell it. Okay, view channel and posts. Okay, so here we go. Here are the questions that people have posted that they want question answered. All right, so starting with the oldest ones right down here. No, I don't want top selected. I want all selected. How do I do all? That. Newest. Okay, so newest. So go down there to the end. All right, so starting with, I have a few questions. What is my favorite type of crafting? I don't really have one. My current crafts that I'm doing are paper crafting, which is mostly greeting cards. There's a lot of different branches of paper crafting. I'm doing mostly greeting cards. That's the one that I like the most. So there's paper crafting. I also do polymer clay. And when I do polymer clay, it's mostly little creatures. And they're real or not. You know, I made some octopuses, but I've also made some dragons. In polymer clay, I also made the wedding toppers for our wedding cake. And we were wearing, we didn't have traditional outfits in our wedding, so I actually made our wedding toppers with what we were wearing. They were really cool. And then I also do beading. That is not by far all the crafts I've ever done, but those are my current ones. I don't really have a favorite. It's just what I want to do right now. And right now I want to do paper crafting. And I'm really enjoying doing paper crafting. And I was supposed to be doing batch die cutting, but I can't do that on this desk because it'll wobble everything and it will cause the iPad to move around. And I don't want to do that because the iPad's already fallen off my little ring stand twice. I don't want to do that again. What is a new craft that I would like to try, but I think that's going to be junk journaling. I haven't done that, so I will follow along with your journey. Yes, I am going to do junk journaling, but one that I would really, really love to try is throwing pottery. I would absolutely adore throwing pottery. The problem with throwing pottery is that it is expensive, massively expensive. And you know, where we live, you know, I hate to say it, but there is a lot of people that move down here with their stuff, and then they don't really move out again because we're in Central Florida, and a lot of people move down here for the, you know, the lastest, bestest days of their lives. And then there's estate sales. And I've come across several kilns for like $200, $250. You know, so I could get a kiln for pretty cheap, but the problem is the expense of the clay and then the energy to run the kiln. I think those would be quite cost prohibitive. So I don't see me ever actually throwing pottery, but I would love to. Another one that I would love to do that is absolutely never going to happen, at least not where I own all the craft materials, is glass blowing. Oh my God, I'm not talking about lampwork glass. I mean actual glass blowing. That would be incredible. I would love it so much. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm just getting what I'm doing right now is I'm cutting this into a pattern so that it's about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so that I can cut these other ones more succinctly and better, so that I can have, you know, little card fronts to do stamping on. Because that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to do stamping. I can't do the embossing machine because turning the thing, I will shake the table. And because I'm using my old ring stand to hold my iPad up, it will fall. And I don't want it to do that. So I'm just making, you know, basically a basic little pattern here to do this with. So yeah, those are the two that I would love to do, but I never ever do glass blowing. There's no way I would ever invest in what you need to do glass blowing. And I won't do pottery either because the supplies are so cost prohibitive. I'm more likely to be able to someday go into a class and do a piece of pottery, but right now that's absolutely impossible with my mental health conditions. The anxiety and the panic, it wouldn't work. If I were in a classroom with people and people were saying, oh, look at what so-and-so has done, look at what Chatty just did, I would melt into the corner and have a panic attack because now all the people would be looking at me and it would just absolutely send me off the edge. So maybe someday, but not right now. All right, so. Also, what is my favorite color? My favorite color is now pink. It used to be yellow. I know exactly when my favorite color changed from yellow to pink, and it changed from yellow to pink in 2011, because at the very beginning of 2011, my husband went to Afghanistan, and the anxiety and the panic absolutely reared its ugly head, and my brain melted. Absolutely melted. It was just absolute panic and terror and torture. And if you're triggered by this, if you are a parent who is triggered by this information, all right, I'm going to leave this piece of paper right here. When I move that piece of paper again, it's a safe to listen again. Okay, but for as long as that piece of paper is sitting there, don't listen to this if you're a parent who's triggered by things that may or may not happen to children. Okay, the only way that I know of to express to someone who has never had a loved one in a war zone is to imagine that don't listen if it's going to trigger you, don't listen, the piece of paper is still here. But to imagine that your young child has been kidnapped by somebody you know with violent tendencies. And every now and then, with no prior warning, that person calls and says, blah, 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 your kid is still alive. You can hear your kid in the background. You know your kid is still alive. You've got that security, that, oh, he's still alive reaction to it. And then the person who has your kid says, you know what? I think I'm going to kill him, click. And then you wait for an unknown amount of time over an unknown span of days, hours, minutes, seconds, however long, till the phone rings again. And when the phone rings, you don't know if it's the kidnapper telling you your kid's still alive, or the kidnapper telling you your kid's still dead, or somebody saying that they're calling you to say that your kid has passed away. And then the phone rings, and then you hear your loved one's voice again, and you know they're alive, and you know they're well. And then the kidnapper, I think I'm going to kill him, click. For 10 months, I did that. I lived through that for 10 months. And then my husband came home for R&R, and it was wonderful to see him, but then he had to leave again. When he first left, my brain melted. I do not remember February 2011 at all. I was teaching at the time. I did have a classroom full of kids. I apparently, no, the paper's still there. Don't listen, the paper's still there. I mistakenly picked it up. I did have a group of kids. I did teach chemistry. And apparently I taught it pretty well because a couple of my classes, every kid passed their, I'm not kidding, Virginia calls their high stakes test the SOLs. It stands for Standards of Learning, but it took me 2 weeks to say it with a straight face. You're about to take your SOLs. It's your SOL. Your SOLs are coming. You know, it took me 2 weeks to say it with a straight face. But, you know, I had 2 classes where every kid passed the SOL. So apparently I did teach during February, but I have no recollection of it whatsoever. When my brain re-solidified, I liked pink. Pink was great. I loved pink. Pink was amazing. Pink was the best color ever. And I didn't like yellow as much. But what's funny is if you'd given me something pink prior to that, I would have ripped it up, thrown it away, burnt it, whatever. I hated pink. I absolutely hated the color. And now it's the best color ever. Absolutely the best color ever. So it was yellow, now it's pink. I don't know why my brain chose pink, but my brain did. All right, that was those questions. I'm not looking at chat right now, so anything that you're putting in chat, I can't see right now. I'm going to go back to it when I can, because right now I'm looking at the questions. All right, so the next one. How long have you been crafting? As long as I can remember. Has it always been the same type of craft? No. What is your favorite thing to craft with? Right now, paper, but that changes. I used to use crafting as a way to avoid my abusive mother. If my mother thought I was studying, then my mother would leave me alone. So I used to make, I don't know what they're called. When I was a kid, I am Gen X, I was a kid a long time ago, and I don't know if this is politically correct to say it now, but I made what we called God's eyes, which are the sticks that are bound together in the center, and then you wrap yarn around them. And I used to sit in my room and just sit there and constantly make those because I didn't need to study. I didn't have homework. But if my mother thought I was doing homework, she left me alone. Oh, I can move that piece of paper now. Sorry. You can listen again. The questions that I answered while the piece of paper was still there and you had it muted is how long have you been crafting? As long as I can remember. Has it always been the same type of craft? No. What is your favorite thing to craft with? And now I'm talking about, right now it's paper, but now I'm talking about what I started with. I started making God's eyes. And the reason that I did God's eyes is because I could get a skein of yarn, and I always got the multicolored ones so that my God's eyes were pretty colors, and I always used small things like toothpicks or popsicle sticks to use as the binds of the God's eyes, because if I heard my mother coming, I could quick slam them into the drawer and push them all the way to the back. So all it was a God's eye and yarn, and then I would go back to acting like I was studying. And then when she went away, I would go back to making the God's eyes. Well, I couldn't keep any of them. So I would take them with me when I went to school, and I would leave them on the bus. And for a while, I had to take city buses to get to school. And so I'd just leave them on the bus. You know, just randomly leave these God's eyes on the bus. And, you know, because I couldn't keep them. I could not keep crafts in my house because then my mother would know that I was not spending my time studying. I was spending my time making crafts. But it was a way to avoid her abuse. So I did. And I suppose I should put a whole trigger warning on all of this. I'm going to be real in this, okay? Massive trigger warnings. I'm going to be real. And one of the reasons that I'm going to be completely real in this is because I firmly believe that it is important for this country to talk about mental health. I firmly believe that it is important for this country to have conversations that are real and authentic so that people who are struggling realize that they're not the only people struggling, and that they can, find a conversation that they can get into and find help through a qualified therapist. I am so not a qualified therapist. I am just a patient. Okay, don't look to me for qualified therapy. Go find someone who is a qualified therapist to get therapy. But it's important that the people in this country know that there are other people that are struggling. And the reason that I say this country is because other countries do mental health so much better than this country. If you were in my last live on Wednesday, I went off on the UK about how awesome the UK is, because somebody in my chat mentioned Lidl, which is a grocery store in the UK. And I thought they were in the UK because I didn't realize that Lidl had come over to America. But one of the things that they do is they will have shows that have tough topics in it. They will have a show where the people in there are talking about cancer, or they're talking about, having lost a loved one to whatever cause, or, they lost a child. And at the end of every show that has something like that in it, there is a PSA that says, if you have been affected by any of the topics in this episode, reach out to channel4.com/support. The TV stations offer mental help. The TV stations have an open line for mental health for the people in the UK. America is so far behind on the whole mental health thing. So anyway, yeah, this is going to be, if you're triggered by conversations like this, I just want you to know that that's what this is. And if you choose to step away, I am completely with you. You know what you can and can't handle. You know what your triggers are or are not. Okay, I have been very severely abused my entire life, but I'm going to alive loudly in the hopes that no one else unalives quietly. And that's why I talk about this. That is why I'm open. That is why I'm honest. That is why I'm putting this out there embedded in my crafting channel. But that's what I did, is I made God's eyes. So if you lived in Gainesville in the mid 70s or to late 70s, and you found a God's eye just randomly set somewhere, chances are I made it, because I needed to have an escape from my mother. And if she thought I was doing homework, I had an escape. So there's that one. I would like to hear the story about the cat's name, Goldilocks and the Three Bears story. Okay, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We had a cat named Boop. And Boop was a very ornery cat. She really was. And we, about 15 years ago when we bought our house, I don't know exactly how long ago, but it's been over a decade. But 12, 13, 14 years ago when we bought our house, we had Boop. And we now had the opportunity, and we had one dog. And we had the opportunity to get another dog so that our dog had company, because Boop was not company. And we couldn't have any other animals because, we were renting. We were limited on the number of animals that we could have. So we got another dog. And the dog is Goldilocks. And if you've seen a picture of her, she looks like Goldilocks. If you go to my Facebook page, Chatty Crafty, the page, there are a few pictures up on there, and it's like the aptly named Goldilocks. She's half Dachshund, half Yorkie. She has golden hair. She is just cute as a bug. I mean, the most adorable dog out there. And she, she's Goldilocks. And right after we got Goldilocks, there was a cat that was hanging out in our yard that we didn't know. And it hung out in our yard for a while. And Boop didn't like the cat because Boop could see the cat through the windows, and Boop didn't like the cat. And we didn't like the fact that it was living outside. We thought that wasn't fair. So we caught the cat. The cat stayed with us for 3 weeks. We caught the cat. We took the cat to the vet, and the cat was chipped. Because we had said, if the cat's not chipped, we're keeping it. Well, the cat was chipped. So the cat went to its owner. And while we were at the vet checking to see whether or not the cat was chipped, there was another lady who was there who had kittens. And she had the kittens because her husband worked for a company that did bushwhacking. And in the process of bushwhacking an area, they hit the mother. And they spent the rest of the day looking for the mom, trying to find her. And in looking for the mom, they found 3 kittens. They never found the mom. They went back the next day to look for the kittens again. I mean, to look for the mom again to see if they could find the mom. And they still never found the mom. They have no idea what happened to the mom, but while they were there, they found another kitten. So there were 4 kittens found after this bushwhacking thing. And so they were there at the vet trying to get the kittens all checked out so that they could find homes for those kittens. And we offered to take 2 of them. We took a little black one that was a tortoiseshell, but she was mostly black. And then we also took a ginger, an orange cat. And so we had those 2. And we weren't really sure how Goldie was going to react to these 2 kittens. And, because she didn't like Boop. Boop didn't like her. I mean, Boop didn't like anybody. Boop didn't like us. The only time Boop would let us pet her is if we were actively feeding her. That was it. Otherwise, she wanted to be left alone. We did a terrible job defertilizing her. All right, it's all on us. We know we did it wrong, but we did a terrible job defertilizing her. So we had Boop. We had the kittens. And we brought the kittens home, having no idea how Goldilocks was going to react to them. And when we brought them in and held them in our hands and showed them to Goldie, the look on her face was so incredible, because she had this look on her face like, you found my puppies. Those are my puppies. I have my puppies back. I have my puppies back. I got my puppies. You found my puppies. And so she did this little happy dance, thinking that we knew that she'd had puppies. I lost my train of thought. We got Goldilocks from the pound, and we knew she'd had puppies because they had fixed her, but she still had, a little bit of boobage because she had been lactating. And so we knew that she had puppies somewhere along the way. And so she saw these 2 kittens. She thought they were her puppies. She rounded them up. She corralled them and everything. So we called them Mama Bear and Papa Bear. Like 2 years later, we're in a parking lot, and Baby Bear, who would actually become Baby Bear, was meowing in the bushes. And we spent 4 hours trying to catch him. Oh my gosh, that cat was so fast and so not wanting to be caught. But in the entire 4 hours that we were there trying to catch him, we did not see any other cats. We did not see anybody come back to look for him. Nothing. So we caught him, we brought him home, and he became Baby Bear. And so that's Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Papa Bear has passed away. Public service announcement: if you have a cat that all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, starts dragging its hind legs, that is instantaneous. Take that cat to the vet, because that is a saddle thrombosis. And if that happens, you have a very limited window in order to fix it. And we messed up because we took Papa Bear to a local emergency room, emergency vet, and all they did was monitor him. And what we should have done is just driven the, 2.5 hours straight to Gainesville and taken him straight to the vet school, where they would have done the things that could have saved him. And he didn't get saved. So we lost Papa Bear. If you look at the videos where I do a drawing, when I first click on the drawing program, there's Baby Bear, and then there's an orange cat laying on the ground. That's my wallpaper. That orange cat, that's Papa Bear. So that's how we have Goldilocks and the 3 bears. And now we have Brucey. And the reason I keep calling her Brucey, is because I have a TikTok channel called Kitty Brucey, and there's only like 3 voices that you can use that say Brucey. All the other ones call her Brucky. And one of them goes, Brucey. So that's why I keep calling her that. All right, what's the next one? What are my top 5 craft tools and why? And do I have a favorite pen? I do not have a favorite pen, but I have a favorite brand of pen. I love InkJoy pens. Oh my gosh. The state of Florida gives teachers a $250 gift certificate. All I want for Christmas is holly jolly. Let it snow. Okay, I'm gonna do holly jolly Christmas. All right, so holly jolly. Anyway, they give teachers $250, and every year I bought 20 packages of InkJoy pens because I absolutely love them. I absolutely love InkJoy pens. They are my absolute favorite pens ever. like the best. So yes, I do not have a favorite I do not have a favorite single pen, but I absolutely love InkJoy pens. And that was crazy. Come on, Chatty. You know to put it on the paper and then put it on the base thingy. Ugh. I mean, sometimes I just have to wonder about myself. There we go. All right, so top favorite craft tools and why. The pick that I don't have here to show you, but that little gold pick that I have that's got the hook on the end that lights up, that's one of my top favorite ones. The bypass tweezers that you squeeze it and you have to squeeze it to release instead of squeeze it to hold. I love those because my fingers get tired trying to hold pieces of cardstock or whatever when I'm trying to do that, when I'm trying to do crafting. Ouch. The pasta machine for my polymer clay is another really big one. This right here, which is a We Are Memory Keepers mat, die mat jig press thing. I don't remember what these are called. Somebody's probably saying in the chat, but I can't see it. But something like that. And let's see, what is that? Let's see, the hook, the tweezers, this thing, the pasta roller. I need a fifth one. It would have to be paintbrushes. I don't know which particular one I like the best, but when I'm doing my painting, I like to have a variety of paintbrushes. Not as many paintbrushes as I have markers, mind you. Oh, no, ain't nowhere near as many paintbrushes as I have markers. But paintbrushes, because when I'm doing painting, because I don't paint well, I really don't. I'm not good at it, but I love doing it. It's one of those things that I don't care that I'm not good at it. I love painting. I really do. And I will do things like I will paint card backs or what are these things called? Card fronts. I will paint card fronts, and it's just weird colors, and I just love doing it. I think it's amazing. And sometimes I end up with brown, and that's okay. You know, I love painting. So those would be my top 5 craft tools and why. And then the last one that put a question into this is, you had mentioned in a previous live stream that you are on the autism spectrum. Do you feel like the autism diagnosis is a benefit to your creativity? I don't know. Me being diagnosed as autistic is really, really, really recent in my life. And that's because I have another learning condition called prosopagnosia. And if you don't know what that means, it is face blindness. That's what most people call it, is face blindness. And what that means is that my brain does not process faces at all. Not even a little bit. Not even the slightest little bit. My brain just does not process faces. So the prosopagnosia comes with a lot of social problems, because when your brain doesn't process faces, you have, oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to make a bunch of those. These are going to just become card fronts, or I might just cut them out and make them into something that is beautiful. I love that. I'm going to make a lot of those. So I'm just going to sit here and make these die print things. Stamping, that's what it's called. I'm just going to sit here and stamp things while I'm chatting. Yeah, so I have face blindness, and it comes with its own set of social problems because, when I was a kid, and I've had it all my life, when I was a kid, I would be on the playground and I'd have a really good time with some person who was also on the playground. And then the next day that I'd see them, I would have no idea that I'd ever seen them before. And when you play with some kid really and have a really good time, and the next day you act like you have no freaking idea who they are, they go off and play with someone else. So I had a whole lot of single day play dates, where I'd go out to the playground, I'd have a great time with somebody, and the next time they wouldn't spend much time with me because all of a sudden I'm acting like I don't know them. And it creates a lot of problems in social problems because, I was a teacher for 25 years, and every time at the beginning of the school year, I would stand up and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I have a learning disability called prosopagnosia, which means that my brain does not process faces. In this particular setting, I have geography on my side. There's a limited number of people that you can be, but out in the real world, you can literally be anybody. And I will not know who you are. So if you're in a store and you see me and I walk right by you, look you dead in the eye and walk right by you and don't say a thing, I'm not mad at you. You didn't do anything to me. I'm not a witch with a capital B. I just had no idea I had ever seen you any time before in my life. Every year, in front of the entire faculty, every year I would say that. And every year, I would pass by somebody in the store and not say anything to them. And these people who were in the meeting and heard me say that would come back to the school and say, well, guess what she did? She walked right by me like she didn't know me. She is such a me. And I'm like, I told you before the school year even started that I would not know you. And now you're mad at me for not knowing you. So, the ostracism came after that because now everybody's talking bad about me behind my back and talking about how I'm such a, uncouth, rude, awful individual who can't even bother to stop and say hi. And this worked out great with the kids, by the way, because if you run into a kid, if you're a teacher and you run into the kid in general public, they want one of two things. They want you to not know who they are at all and say nothing to their parents. Nothing. They want you to ignore that they exist. They want you to not be anywhere near them. They want you to not know you. They want to hide in a corner. And that was perfectly fine because I didn't know who they were. Or they run up to you and they go, oh, look, so-and-so, mom, this is Miss So-and-so, and I want you to meet my teacher because she's great. And then my brain goes, well, obviously I teach this one. And so I have a non-committal conversation with the mom until the kid does something that sparks in my brain who they are. And then I know who they are. Because the way I describe it is every time I have an interaction with somebody, my brain makes a file. Everybody's brain makes a file of that person. And that file, when most people look at someone's face, that file opens up in their brain. And now they know everything that they know about that person and they have access to all the information right there. Faces don't open the file for me. Not even a little bit. It stays tightly closed. Eventually, they will do something with their head or they'll say a certain phrase or they'll hold their hand a certain way or they'll suck on their teeth a certain way. And that will open the file because their face doesn't do it. That opens the file. And now I know everything there is about that person. But until that file gets opened, I don't know who they are because their face didn't open the file. So, the kids come up to me and they start going, oh, goodness, mom, meet Miss So-and-so. Miss So-and-so is the greatest teacher ever. Oh my gosh, you got to meet her. She's so funny. She makes class so much fun. We love her so much. Or it's the other kid that doesn't want me to talk to their mom. And guess what? I don't recognize them. So I never talk to their mom and they're happy. Adults, not the same. Adults are very judgmental, very unforgiving, very caustic, very drama-oriented people, which is why I keep saying teaching would be awesome if we could get rid of the adults. So as far as the autism, because I have prosopagnosia and it comes with all of the social issues, that completely hid my autism. Does my autism make me more creative? I don't think so. I think having to hide from my mother and using crafts to do so is what actually makes me creative. Because I had to be very creative because if my mother ever figured out that I had been crafting, that would have been the end of my studying being a respite from her wrath. I love these. I'm making way too many of these, but I don't really care. I love them. Okay, so those are all the pre-questions that were asked. I am now going to go back to the live, and I'm going to read through the comments that are in the live streams. So give me just a moment to get through this. Here we go. Happy Friday. Hello, hi all. Hi, hello from Virginia, Florida. Hey, it's Stace from Alabama. Hi, Chris. Hi, how are you? Thank you. Glad to be here. Oh, I still have 17 people in this. Woot! Yay! Take a breath now. Oh, goodness, such a trooper. Hi, I'm from. That was Daisy. Daisy, did you ever say where you're from? Because it's not there. Oh no, I'm sorry, that sucks, but thank you for still going live. Has anyone set up a Cricut Bright 360? Are they good lights? No, I've bought one, but I haven't set mine up yet, Stacy. I've always wanted to try pottery. Hello, Cece. Hi, Erica. Hello, all. Kathy. Hi, Erica. Hi, Erica. At least you said it with a straight face. Oh, that's horrible. I must have been talking about my mother at that point. Try being a nurse in prison and taking care of the horrific people that have, oh, I know, Stacy, I couldn't do that. If that's what you do for a living, I have so much respect for you. Oh my goodness gracious. Absolute total respect for you. Hi, sorry, I'm like, hi, Kelly. Good evening, all. Hi, Elena. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Elena. Stacy Baker. I bought the Cricut floor lamp. Love it. It's very bright. Hello, Amira. Hi, Amira. Hi, okay, I have the tabletop. Hello, Kelly. Sorry, I missed you. Hi. Oops. Pop up. Oh my gosh, I love the Papermate Inkjoy gel pens. Yeah. Inkjoy is the greatest pen ever. Reverse tweezers are great. Stamp platform. That's what it's called. It's called a stamp platform. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Elena. And thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly, again. I had a friend with face blind that she adapted to recognize voices very well. Yeah, I can do voices sometimes. I'm the worst person in the world to watch a movie with, though. I'll explain that in just a second. Let me finish reading all these. People tend to not want to believe you when you tell them the truth. My ex-husband said in court, oh, please, everyone suffers from depression these days about our daughter. Oh, my goodness. Hi, Daisy from Florida. Hey, another Floridian in the house. The lights are great. You can see the huge light. I have both the table and floor. Love them. Note, the floor light is brighter than the desk one. Love the range of light. Okay, cool. So what was I going to talk about? I said there, just go back to something I had very well to recognize. Oh, I'm the worst person in the world to watch a movie with because people, I don't recognize faces at all, but sometimes they'll do something that they did in one characterization in one movie, and then they'll do it in another movie. And my husband and I, we call it pinging. So these people will ping. And it immediately becomes me slapping my husband on the side because, you know, he sits to the right of me. So I smack his left thigh and I go, who's that? And then he tries to tell me who they are. Like, that's Mel Gibson. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. And he says, okay, Mel Gibson, or we'll do Harrison Ford. I know more of his movies. But he'll do, that's Harrison Ford. That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, Han Solo. No, that's not Han Solo. Okay, Indiana Jones. Okay, yeah, that's Indiana Jones. It's that bad. Okay, I know cognitively that Harrison Ford is both Han Solo and Indiana Jones. But it's the most horrible thing because if he doesn't say whatever action caused the person to ping, then I'm not going to believe that's who it is. And I have this running joke with my husband that I keep accusing him of changing IMDb because IMDb is a user-defined platform. So I accuse him of going in and changing it to say what he told me it was. And I will say right now, Gary Oldman. Let me talk to you a second about Gary Oldman. I despise and absolutely love Gary Oldman. Because Gary Oldman is the absolute best full-body actor, full-body character actor in the entire industry. Because Gary Oldman never pings. I have never had a ping from Gary Oldman. And it's become a running joke in our family because when Gary Oldman is in a movie that we're watching, we'll get to the end and my husband will say, by the way, that was Gary Oldman. Not a single ping, nothing. Don't recognize him at all. He doesn't ping one little bit. So he is the absolute best, absolute most accomplished character actor in the entire industry, and I hate him for it. Because I never get to go, oh, that's Gary Oldman. And you're talking to somebody who's seen Fifth Element probably 150 times. All right, it's not that I don't know this man's work. It's not that I have not watched him. But nope, he doesn't ping. Not even a little bit. Nope, not once. Not once has he ever pinged in any movie he's ever been in. In fact, my husband will tell me which movies are Gary Oldman movies, and I don't believe him. I just don't. So I'm like the worst person in the world to watch movies in. Or the worst person in the world to watch movies with. Oh, darn it, I didn't get the H and the holly on that one. Dang it, I've been doing so well in getting these down so nicely. But that is a nice thing about those stamp positioners. I can go back and redo it. Ta-da! These are gorgeous. I love these so much. I'm going to have so many of these ready for next year because obviously it's a bit late for this year. All right, so hey, there's 19 of you now. Okay, so I have no other questions that were given to me to begin with. So does anybody have any other questions that they would like to ask me? Because I am literally an open book. I don't think that there's any reason to hide anything because America needs to have this conversation. America needs to know that it is okay to talk about these things, that mental health is important, and seeking help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. And I can't help you because I'm not qualified, but there are a lot of people out there who are. An absolute lot of people who out there who are very much qualified to help you if you need that help. And I strongly encourage anybody to seek out that help if they need it. I am a huge proponent of mental health and mental health practices that help people understand why it is that they feel the way they do and how it is that they can overcome those feelings, which is kind of odd coming from me because I avoided all sorts of mental health help for a very long time. And a lot of it was due to my mother, because for her, she was definitely of the, if you need mental help, you are a weak person kind of person. So I just ran out of those. So I got to do something else. You know what? I don't have a wet wipe to sit there and wipe that off. Oh, well. Darn it, I just saw something pop up and then I'm late, so maybe someone asked, how did you decide to talk about this when you are so careful about the public? There are a few people that would recognize me now just from the, hi, I'm so-and-so and I have prosopagnosia. Most of them won't be watching this. And if they are, then they know who I am. But for the most part, people aren't going to know me. And I am very secure in the idea that my kids, if they are watching this, which they probably aren't, my students, not my own kids, my students. I don't have any kids of my own. If I talk about my kids, I'm talking about students that I have taught over the course of my teaching career. But I'm sure that they won't because I was the type of teacher that the kids wanted to be in their class. I really was. I made it fun. I owned my mistakes. You know, you have so many teachers that if they make a mistake, they try to hide it. I didn't try to hide any of my mistakes. I flat out owned them. Like, oh, that's funny. Look what I just did. Don't do that. That's not the way you do this. You do it this way. Don't do what I did. This is a do as I say, not as I do moment, because that was not smart. You know, don't do what I did. That wasn't good. Things like that. And, you know, I made learning fun. I think one of my best ever, what are some other things you like? Animals food games. Okay, I'll get to that one in just a moment. But I had the best IEP meeting once, the absolute best IEP meeting. IEP meeting means individualized education plan, for those of you who are not cognizant of the term. But an IEP meeting is when a kid who has special needs comes in and has a, I believe you're helping a lot of people. I hope you're helping yourself as well. I bet you were a fabulous teacher. I thought I was a fabulous teacher. Sorry, my friend whose house I'm in just said that her cat just caught a snack, which means I do believe that there was, for a moment, a lizard in the house. Not anymore. But the IEP meeting that I was at, I don't remember the kid's name. I really don't. And even if I did, I couldn't say it because that's, you know, privileged information. But we got together. I was teaching middle school at the time. We got together and all of his teachers were sitting around this big old table, and they got to the math teacher. The math teacher said, well, this is what this kid's doing. This is where this kid needs to improve. This is how this kid's performing in my classroom. This is what he's doing really well at, you know, that kind of stuff. And then I went to the English teacher and she did the same thing. And then went to the history teacher and she did the same thing. And then it got to me. They said, well, this is Miss So-and-so, this is so-and-so's science teacher. And the mom said, oh, I know what's going on in your class. He's doing this, and this, and this is the way you expect him to behave, and this is what he's doing wrong, and this is how he needs to improve. And he knows these things. He comes home and tells me everything that goes on in your classroom, and he tells me all the stuff that you do and how he needs to really, you know, buckle down and do this better and buckle down and do that better, but he's performing really well at this, and this. I literally said, I'm done, and pushed the grade sheet across the table. I said 2 words in that IEP meeting. I'm done. I was done. I didn't have to say anything. The mom knew. The mom knew everything that went on in my classroom because the kid went home and told her. I was that kind of teacher. Remember how I said with prosopagnosia, there's 2 different types of kids, the ones that don't want you to recognize them, which they're happy because I never did, and the ones that really want to introduce you to their parents. Well, I had a lot that really wanted to introduce me to their parents. So, you know, I got to meet a whole lot of parents that way because I'd be somewhere and the kid would run up to me and they'd say, oh, no, I gotta meet my mom. Come over here, you gotta meet my mom. You gotta meet my mom. My mom's over here, you gotta meet my mom. Or my dad, or whatever. So yeah, it was fun. What are some of the, there's some other things like animals, food, games. I love all animals. I absolutely adore all animals. And here we go back to the whole, and I really hope that I don't break into song because I will mess up my copyright on this one because I'm so tempted to. But back to the UK being so much better. The American commercials for things like the SPCA and things like that, they're all the same. You know, the sick animal, the poor misabused animal, and it's all trying to pull at your heartstrings. In the UK, they're singing Respect by Aretha Franklin. And it starts with a bee on a flower, and then a lawnmower comes close to it. And they're saying, all I want is, and then it's got a little kitten that's all I want is, and then it's got a chicken that says, all I want is, you know, a little respect. And then the chorus with the just a little bit is the entire hen house all screaming just a little bit at the same time. And then there's cows in the field to the song, and then there's goats swimming around, and then they're not swimming around but playing around, and then there's pigs, and they've got like penguins, and they've got hedgehogs and lizards and things like that. And the end of it is all animals deserve our respect all the time. I mean, that's so cool. I love animals. I absolutely love animals. I love games. I absolutely adore games. Food, I will eat anything except oysters. Nope, no, I'm not into the oysters. And oddly enough, I have classifications of things. Like, I don't like coconut. But I will fight you for a Mounds bar. I don't know why, but I will fight you for a Mounds bar. But I don't like coconut. I don't know. Explain that one to me, because I don't get it. But I will still fight you for a Mounds bar. Don't give me an Almond Joy. I don't want that. That tastes terrible. But I will fight you for a Mounds bar. Doesn't make any sense to me. You know, but again, you know, autism, my brain doesn't make sense to most people. So, you know, why not? Food, games. I love any games. I love board games. I love card games. I love, to an extent, video games, but I kind of topped out at Zelda. Zelda Ocarina of Time is kind of like the pinnacle of gaming to me, and anything beyond that I'm not really fond of, but that's, to be perfectly honest, I am not fond of first-person shooters. I don't like them at all, not even a little bit. So, you know, a lot of games for a while there, they were almost all first-person shooters, so I just don't like them. I agree, I bet it was, you were the student's favorite. Yeah, I kind of was. And I really was, I'm not humble about it at all. I am really not humble about it at all. And again, you know, teachers hated me. One of the reasons that teachers ostracized me and didn't like me is because my kids were always saying, well, that's not the way it's done in Miss So-and-so's class. That's not what we do in Miss So-and-so's class. And one of the reasons that they liked me so much is that I didn't care about a lot of the things the other teachers cared about. I mean, how many of you had teachers that would sit there and if you didn't put name, class period, date in that order on your piece of paper, you'd lose a point. I couldn't have cared less. You put your name on it, I'm good. I don't care about anything else. I will figure out what class you're in. I will figure out what period it is. I don't care about the date. You got your name on your paper, I'm good. And these other teachers, they would stress their kids out over the heading on their paper, and then they would be so stressed and so nervous about the rest of the class as to whether or not they got this heading right for this class. Because the heading in this class didn't match the heading in this class, didn't match the heading in this class, didn't match the heading in this class. So they had to figure it out. And there were teachers that, you know, well, you've got to write in blue or black ink, and you can't use any other thing. It's like, well, you use a freaking crayon in my classroom. Use a freaking crayon if you have to. Just make sure you do your work. So, I mean, there was none of the stress over all of the little painfully annoying administrative stuff in my classroom. There was stress over the content. Don't get me wrong, my kids were stressed out about science, but they weren't stressed out about spelling. They weren't stressed out about how the heading was. They weren't stressed out about what particular piece of paper they were using. You know, I'm like, you know, you have note cards. If that's all you have, write your answers down on note cards. I will take it. You know, they weren't stressed about anything except the actual content that I was trying to teach them. You know, I can't do anything about that. Science can be very stressful. I understand that. But they didn't have to worry about anything else. You know, the only thing that I required in my classroom, the only two things that were clerical that I was picky about was that their name had to be on the paper somewhere. Didn't care. Put it on this side, put it on that side, put it in the middle, put it down at the bottom. I don't care. Your name has to be on the paper. And number two, if you're using chemical symbols off the periodic table, they must be capitalized correctly. That was it. Those were the only two clerical things that I cared about in my classroom. And it was so much easier for my kids to learn science that way because they weren't stressed out about all the other stupid clerical stuff. They could be stressed out about learning the science. I don't know. Soapbox. That's one of my soapboxes. That really is. That's one of my soapboxes. I agree. Bet your students were your favorite. Her cat caught a snack. Yes, her cat caught a snack. Her cat caught a lizard. What I appreciate is when teachers show that they are human as well. I hated those that thought they were above everyone. Oh, I know. We had one. Oh my gosh. She hated me, and she rightfully hated me. Okay, I'm going to sit there and say she had every reason to hate me. But she had, and I'm not going to do the accent because it is absolutely politically incorrect to do accents that are not yours. You know, I'm doing little kid accents, and I feel okay with that, but I'm not going to do her accent. But she had a very, very deep Southern Baptist drawl accent. And she had a speech that she gave her kids all the time. And it was the same speech that she gave her kids all the time. And at the time, I could still teach with my door open. Can't teach with your door open anymore because of mass shootings, but at the time, I could still teach with my door open. So my door was open, and any time that she did this speech, she had brought some poor, unsuspecting freshman into the hallway because she taught freshmen, and she gave them her speech, which was basically, I'm not going to do the whole speech because I'm just not, but the speech was basically, you have failed my class. I don't ever want to see you in my class again. Do not come back to my class. I don't care where you are during my class period, but you are not allowed in my class. And with my door open and me being 2 doors down and across the hallway, we could hear this. And a lot of her kids ended up in my classroom. So because they had to be somewhere, they needed to be in school, but they had to be somewhere. And so they would come into my class because they knew as long as they didn't cause a problem, I wasn't going to kick them out and I wasn't going to tell on them. So, you know, I had some students that learned chemistry 2 and 3 times that at that school because they kept on getting kicked out and coming into my classroom. And, you know, as long as they were quiet and as long as they just, you know, they could read a book, they could do homework, I didn't care. They just couldn't disrupt my class. So they'd show up in my classroom. And so it got to the point when she would start her speech, I would start affectively acting it out. Big time. Funny. Massively disrespectful to her. I know that. I admit it. But she was being so massively disrespectful to the students that were in her charge that I didn't have any problem with being massively disrespectful to her. And my kids laughed every time she was in the hallway giving that speech to her kids. My kids were laughing a lot. And she knew that we were laughing at her. And I didn't try to hide it. And she hated me. And I was okay with that. You know the worst part about that? In the 7 years that I taught at that school, she was elected Teacher of the Year twice. And I never was. Because she could play the politics better than I could. I don't play politics well. But yeah, it's interesting that most kind people have issues, tend to be wonderful with animals, but not necessarily people. I can't, oh wait, I missed something. Oh, hold on, her cat caught a stack. What I appreciate is when teachers showed they are human as well. I hated those that thought they were above everybody. I can't watch those. Oh yeah, I agree with you, Kelly. The commercials over here are awful. The ones over in Britain and the UK, they're not as bad. Although there are some in the UK that are just like the ones over here, but they're usually for other animals. Oysters are so yummy. Well, you know what? More for you, Tarna. Absolutely more for you. Yeah, they're all yours. Yoo-hoo, more for you. Nouns are your favorite. Hi, I just saw this was on. Yay, hi, Susan. Hey, Susan B. I think this is either the first or second time. Tarna, I've never seen you before either, so welcome to the Chatty Crafty Guild. This is awesome. I think animals are drawn to people who are really people willing not to be normal or real. People who are real, people willing not to be normal are real. I always told my kids no such thing as normal. That's true. I've got more reasons to be real than a lot of people do. And one of them is the mere fact, did I already stamp this? I did. One of them is the mere fact that I cannot recognize people. I have an exceptional memory, absolutely exceptional memory. I had the worst job for having prosopagnosia because I got 130 new students every year. It's the worst job when you can't recognize people. How did I overcome that? They had seating charts before they even walked into my room. Their seats were assigned before they had ever stepped into my room, and I memorized the seating charts. And after about 2 weeks, I would know their little tics and their little attributes and, the way they hold their hand, and if they're nervous, what they do with their thumbs, or if they're thinking about something, the way they tap their cheek, or the way they run their fingers through their hair. All these little tells are the way that I could recognize people. So after about 2 weeks, I know which ones they are. So for the first 2 weeks of my class, they all sat in their assigned seats so I could memorize who they were and learn their little tips and tricks and habits and stuff. So yeah, that was the worst possible class for that. Where was I going with that? Because I was going somewhere with that. Oh, but I won't recognize, if I lie to somebody, I will not recognize them in time to realize that that is the person that I lied to. So I have to tell the truth. I don't have a choice in it. If I'm talking to somebody in real life and I say something that's not true, when they ask me about it next time, let's say I talk about my 2 kids, which y'all already know I don't have any kids. I say I talk about my 2 kids. They come up and they ask me, how are my kids doing? And I say, I don't have kids. And all of a sudden their brain goes, well, you're a liar. And I am. If I try to do something that I'm a liar, it's not that I don't remember lying to that person. It's that I don't recognize that person as being the person that I lied to in time to not catch myself up in a lie. So I'm just blatantly honest, which is another thing that people don't like. There is something that I have learned about society and the way society works is that, and I've said this a couple times before, people don't say what they mean and they're not thinking exactly what they're saying. And one of the things that drives me nuts, and one of the reasons that I can do this, I can interact with you this way, but I can't interact with you in real life, is because you are words on a screen. That's it. I don't see your face. I don't hear your voice. I can't see your body. You are words on a screen. And I can interpret those words on a screen as exactly what they say. And that's it. That's nothing more. But if you are more than words on a screen, if there's a body involved or a face involved or a voice involved, then I misinterpret everything, because most people, when they talk, their face, their body, and their words don't match. Now, a lot of times their face and their words match, but their body doesn't. Because I don't look at faces. I look at bodies, because faces don't mean anything to me. And everybody in the world has schooled, well, almost everybody, a lot of people, most of the people in the world are schooled their face to not belie what they're thinking. But almost nobody has schooled their body to not belie what they're thinking. And since bodies are what I look at, I am so confused, because they say something and their body is saying the exact opposite. And I'm like, what am I supposed to believe? So I have huge problems with people in the real world, because what they say and the way they act doesn't match, and their facial expressions I have problems with anyway, because I'm autistic. But again, that was masked for so long because I have prosopagnosia. People didn't think to, and even if they had thought to test me, I grew up in the 70s and went to high school in the 80s. I am full on Gen X. And, if they had tested me, the test would miss me because I'm a girl. And they didn't test that many people anyway for autism when I was a kid. And if they did and they came up with it, they usually called it Asperger's, which is just a terrible name for it because, anyway, if you don't know why that's horrible, you can look it up on your own. I'm not going to say it here. My daughter and grandson love me, they're the weirdo. We say it makes us interesting. My grandson laughs about how he gets about now that he gets it. Yeah, I love being the weird person, and that's why I love Dragon Con, because Dragon Con is 80,000 weird people that are just weird as me and weird right along next to me, and have the same kind of desires to have fun without the constraints of society making us feel bad about ourselves. So yeah, I can do Dragon Con, and I can go into Ollie's, and I can go into one Aldi on Thursdays. That's it. My panic will not let me do anything else. I can't answer my phone, anything. Such as normal. Did I miss something? I just saw this is on. My daughter and grandson loving. Oh, I thought I read that one. Have you ever watched the Bee Movie? I did. That's the one with the Everybody Loves Raymond guy. And I know that because of the voice, not because I know his name. I did watch it once and I don't remember anything about it. So you have to give me more information as to why you brought it up, because I just don't remember the plot of the Bee Movie. But I do know that I watched it. I watched it once. I watched it probably right after it came out on whatever format it was, whether it came out on cable or came out on a VHS tape or whether it came out on a DVD. I don't know. I couldn't tell you when it came out. But you'd have to remind me as to why you brought that one up, Amira. This one was that one was directed at Doris. The lamp is great. Love the table lamp. Yes, Susan, she is correct because the floor lamp is quite a bit more powerful. The best part about the light is being able to adjust it to your needs. Position, color, light. Hey, my career was advertising. I'm slightly injured that everyone thinks American commercials suck. Oh, I'm sorry, Elena. I'm sorry. American commercials are very, very antagonistic. And I think that's what I don't like about them. American commercials are hugely, it's either this is why you should be scared about this thing, this is the two sides and they're fighting about it. I apologize, Elena. I don't mean to make you feel bad, but I don't like the antagonism that's in American commercials. It's always a fight. One of the ones that I use as an example for this is, and I think I've said it before, but it's one of those trip advisory hotel things. I've seen this commercial in using euros, and I've seen this commercial using pounds, and I've seen this commercial using dollars Canadian and dollars United States. So I've seen it in 4 different localities. And it's a Trivago commercial because the guy walks up and he says, Trivago, you didn't use Trivago. He walks up, I've got it for this and things like that. And it's not as antagonistic in the US, in the Canadian dollar or the euro or the pound commercial, but it's far more antagonistic in the US dollar commercial. Another example, and I don't know what it's commercial for, but it's the girl that's got mud all over her and her director keeps saying, more mud. And then he says, break for lunch. And she's got this look on her face like, are you serious? I got all this mud on me. We're finally ready to do this. Now you want to break for lunch? And it's just a look on her face. And then she's at a spa. She's booked herself a spa with, baths and things like that. And somebody asks her if she wants a mud bath. And in the UK version of it, she kind of demurely shakes her head and purses her lips and just like that. That's it. That's all she does. She purses her lips, shakes her head, and it signifies that the answer is no. And the American commercial, she's no, I don't want that. It is so much more antagonistic and so much more guttural, than the UK commercials. Like I said earlier, the UK commercials, I've been watching UK television for so long now. I know of one lawyer commercial, and it is them saying that anybody who made a car loan between 2004 and 2022, they probably are owed money, and this is the law firm that will help you get your money. It's not a personal injury thing. It's not an, oh my gosh, you got hurt, you need to sue somebody. They're not as sue happy. It's not as litigious as we are. And there are no prescription drug commercials, none whatsoever. And that's amazing in itself. And then the last one that really gets me that there are none of is that there are absolutely no news commercials. None. There's no coming up at 5. There's no, what's wrong with your water? Oh my gosh, you have to watch our news station. And the reason that there are no news commercials in the UK is because news is not a business in the UK. All American news sources. It does not matter which one you're talking about. I don't care if you're far right. I don't care if you're far left. I don't care if you're centrist. There is not a single unbiased news source in the United States that is willing to tell you the truth, because in the greatest absolute brass tacks basics of American news stations is they have to sell commercials. They are a business. And if they don't sell commercials, they don't get money. I'm being paid by YouTube now. Okay, my channel has matured to the point where I am getting revenue from not PayPal, revenue from YouTube. And you know what that revenue is? It's ad revenue. I am getting paid from the ads that you watch on my channel because that's how I get paid from YouTube, because ads are how YouTube get their money. And ads are how American news sources get their money. So of course they have to appeal to specific demographics. So you've got the right-hand news stories, the right-hand news programs appealing to the right-sided thinking in this country. You've got the left-sided news programs appealing to the left-sided people in this country. And you've got the centrist news programs appealing to the centrist news people in this country. But regardless of which direction they're trying to go, they are still trying to appeal to their audience so that they can sell ad revenue, so that they can sell ads during their show, which is why American news is always, what's wrong with your water? Oh my gosh, you need to see this story. Tune in at 11. And it's all about fear mongering, and it's all about making people afraid so that they will tune into the news. If you want to know what's going on in this world, do not watch American news at all. Find a foreign news source and watch them. They will tell you what's going on in this world. None of the American news sources are worth watching, in my humble opinion. Not a single one. Let's see. I missed some chords. I'm sorry, I went off there. True. Hey, my career was advertising. Okay, I apologize, Elena. I really do. I hope I didn't lose you as a sub and lose you as a viewer on that one. I really do. Hey, so do they have any tools that they have come up with to get past the face blindness? No, and there's no cure for it. There's a little piece of my brain at the very back of my brain that doesn't work, and in fact, it came up in Quantum of Solace. It's a Bond movie with Daniel Craig. I don't remember which one, but I think it's Quantum of Solace, where he's tied down to the chair and the guy is sitting there going, "You're going to forget everybody you've ever seen before." And he's got this little drill that's going into the back of his brain. It's actually going for the right place. They actually did get that right. But that part of my brain doesn't work. And there's no way to make it work. It just absolutely does not work. Considering that is either genetic or it happened at birth. And I've had it my entire life. And if it did happen at birth, I'm not that upset about it. Because if it happened at birth, and that's the part of my brain that got damaged, I'm okay. I'm fine with that. Because so many other things in my brain could have been damaged at birth, because there was damage to my brain when I was born. And I could have lost logic. I could have lost the ability to speak. I could have lost hearing. I could have lost sight. I lost the ability to recognize people. I'm okay with that. I'm good. It could have been so much worse. I can't recognize people? Okay. Fine. Moving on. No, so there's no tools to get past face blindness. But it makes us seem rude. It does. It really makes us seem rude because we act like we don't know you, even though we just talked to you yesterday. And what's really bad about face blindness, oh my gosh, this is one of the worst things about face blindness. Okay, so I'm here talking to somebody, and somebody else is talking to here. And this is somebody that I'm now having a heated conversation with. You can't see my hands. I'll do it. A heated conversation with this person. And we huff off. And well, because I can't recognize people, if anybody looks at me and it seems like they might know me, I'm all chipper. Hi, how you doing? So now is coming up to me, and they're like, they still remember me, and their Farley files open up. Fight, 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 fight. So their Farley file opens up, and the first thing they see is fight, 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 fight. My Farley file doesn't open. I don't know who this person is. So I'm sitting there, hi, how are you doing? And that just makes them more angry at me. It's like this totally awful backwards negative feedback loop. Oh my God. I mean, really? So, they're angry at me because we had a little exchange of words, and now they're angry at me because I'm happy to see them. Now I'm really a witch with a capital B. Really and truly. So yeah, hey, so they have to face. Thanks for that info. I was thinking I could do one or the other. I have both. Okay, we're still talking about the lamps. That's another lamp comment. My room is trashed. Yeah, Kelly, I'm right there with you. My room is so trashed. I had a craft avalanche the other day because Brucey decided to climb all over my stuff. Yeah, totally trashed. I would refuse half-naked women draped over cars, etc. Okay, good. See, there you go. Elena, you have morals and you have standards. I love that. That's awesome. I don't know how to use most of it. You'll learn, Stacy. You will. You can literally learn how to use anything on YouTube. Literally anything. In fitness, we are also given a lot more restrictions here as to what we can and can't do. At some point, we were not allowed to advertise alcohol. Really? Lawyers were not allowed to advertise about money. Yeah, I know. There is a show that they have in the UK that I really, really, really wish they had in this country, specifically because kids that aren't supposed to watch it would watch it. And I really wish they had it. And it would be amazing for our youth and the body image that our youth in the United States of America has. The show that I'm talking about is called Naked Attraction. And if you're in the UK, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in the United States, it's the late night shows. And in England, in the UK, when a show is coming up, they'll say adult content at the beginning and throughout. They don't give you a TVMA. They tell you exactly what's going to come up, and they do it auditorily so that people who are blind will also know what's coming up. And then they write it on the screen so that people, if you're deaf, you also know what's coming up. Or they have signers, off topic. Back to what I was saying. Naked Attraction comes on late night in the UK, which means it comes on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon for me here because we're 5 hours ahead. I'm saying, yeah, we're 5 hours behind them. So 11 o'clock in the UK is 6 p.m. here. And Naked Attraction is, the caution for Naked Attraction is adult content and language and full frontal nudity from the start and throughout. And this is like it's being shown on NBC or ABC or CBS or Fox or CW, PBS. Well, no, not PBS. TBS, that's the one I was thinking of. It's not shown on a cable network. This is broadcast television in the United Kingdom. And it's called Naked Attraction. And it starts with 6 pods that have people in them that are naked as a jaybird. And they lift the pods from the bottom up. So the very first thing you see, you get introduced to the picker, and then it lifts the pods from the bottom up, and you see a whole bunch of bottom halves of people. And it's every bit of bottom half of people, but they are authentic, real, honest to goodness bodies. Absolutely real bodies. And instead of being photoshopped and glamorized and made to be the perfect individual and the perfect idea of what a body should look like, these are absolute normal bodies. And I watched the show. I'm not gonna deny it. I watched the show, and I have seen every form of, male attachments that you could possibly think of. And it's across the board. And I've seen the bodies. There's dad bods, there's swimmer bods, there's bodybuilder bods, there's short bods, there's amputee bods, there's paraplegic bods. There are, why can't I think of it? The disability where people don't walk normally, where they have to walk in specific ways. And I can't believe I can't think of the name of it, but that one, there are people who are like that. There are trans bodies. There are pre-op trans bodies. There are post-op trans bodies. There are, solo polyamorous people on there. There are polyamorous people on there. There was a time when all the pods opened up and there were 2 people in each one of them because they were all looking for a trio. A throuple, I think is what it's called. But they're real bodies. And if our kids in this country could see what an actual body looks like without going to these photoshopped magazines, which is the only thing available to them, they would be a lot more body positive about what their particular body looks like. And one of the things that I love about this show is they are so kind about it. One of the things that I heard her say, the hostess, one of the things that I heard her say is women are like snowflakes. They're all different and they're all beautiful. Women's bodies are like snowflakes. They're all different and they're all beautiful. Our kids don't get that. Our kids don't get that at all. Our kids get, you need to be this teeny tiny little skinny person, or you need to be this buff person that's absolutely filled out with the 6-pack. And our kids don't get the idea of what really a real body looks like. And they're so self-conscious about themselves because of it. My soapbox. But of course, Naked Attraction would never, ever make it past the censors in the United States of America. It's not going to happen. This is something that's broadcast on British television, just like as if it were on any of the major broadcast stations here, but it's not anything big for them because they're so body positive and they're so body forward and they're so ability positive, because one of the people who appears on like every panel show that they have is Rosie Jones, and she has the condition that I can't remember the name of. I have epilepsy in my head and that's not it. Cerebral palsy. She has cerebral palsy. And, she sounds like she has cerebral palsy. She moves like she has cerebral palsy, but she's on every panel show out there because she's a real human being, and anyway, me, that's it. You know where I'm going with that. I'm just going to continue. I'm just not going to continue that because you know where I'm going. In fairness, at some point, political ad laws. So yes, political ads are insane. Yes, Elena, they are. That's one of the reasons that my husband had that set up for me. Not only do I get to see every UK television station, we can also tune into Honolulu. And if you want to see commercials that don't make your blood boil while you're watching football, then tune into the Honolulu stations because they're so much better, because Hawaiians are so much more family centered. Ohana, it's not just a thing in Moana. Ohana is huge and throughout the entirety of Hawaii. And so the commercials follow that. And I like watching football on the Hawaiian commercials. I don't really get to choose which football game I'm going to watch because I'm stuck with whatever they show on Channel 5 in Britain for the 1 o'clock game, and then whatever they're showing in Honolulu for the 4 o'clock game, and then the night football, whatever it is. I don't really get to choose which football game I'm watching. I just watch football because I watch the Honolulu stations. Oh, Lilo and Stitch, not Moana. Okay, my friend just told me it's not Moana that talks about Ohana. It is Lilo and Stitch. I made a mistake. Thank you for correcting me. My whole family is in TV, so you're not wrong. I'm not insulted. Oh, good, Elena. I'm good. My whole family. I got it. I just realized you don't know who to be mad at. That's hysterical. I just realized you don't know who to be mad at. I learned how to crochet from Google on YouTube. See, there you go. You can learn. I would love to learn how to crochet, but I think my husband would I'm not. If I started bringing yarn into the house too, oh no, my husband would be like, no, this stops now. With good reason. I mean, in all honesty, with the 3 crafts that I currently do, the polymer clay, the beading, and the paper craft, they take up an awful lot of room. If I were to throw yarn in on that too, he would have every reason to say nope. I should correct. No, that was what was considered hard alcohol, beer and wine were fine. I thought that was the ridiculous. If it may, yeah, I agree with you. Like it makes a difference. What I just like most is that so many people think reality TV is real. There's absolutely no real reality TV show. You're right, Elena. There absolutely isn't. The UK does a better job at it, but unfortunately now the UK is starting to move their reality shows more towards United States style reality shows. Great British Bake Off is one that I'm thinking of as a reality TV show. They also have another one called Game of Wool, where they put knitters out there to do knitting, and they make sweaters and bags and jumpsuits and bathing suits and things like that out of knitting needles and crochet. Which is another really cool one. I liked that one too. I watched it. They have other reality shows where they're like, help, I bought a village, where people actually buy an entire village and fix it up. But they also have other ones like Love Island that is much closer to an American reality show. And they have one, and I actually watched a couple episodes of it because I always give anything 2 episodes to catch my interest and to make me think it's okay. And one of them was called, Naked Dating, Naked Island. Anyway, they're naked and they're dating on an island, but it's a vote-off show like Survivor. And, the first episode, there were these 2 people that were really starting to actually like each other, stark naked, but they were liking each other. They wanted to be around each other. And then they voted the guy off, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not watching that anymore. That is something I like about shows from the UK. In general, they are real people. Some have straight teeth, some crooked, some people thin, some curvy, every variation that makes us uniquely beautiful. I agree with you, Susan. Absolutely agree with you on that one. I love the UK. I have seen panel shows that have had people who suffer from dwarfism, people who suffer from giantism, people like Rosie Jones. I mean, she's on everything and she speaks like she has cerebral palsy and nobody interrupts her and nobody tries to finish her sentences for her. They just let her talk. There's another one that stutters, and I can't remember their name, but they stutter, and nobody tries to finish their sentences for them. Nobody tries to rush them along. They just sit back and let them say what they need to say, and then they add their part to the panel show. Can you imagine an American panel show having the patience to allow a person with cerebral palsy to finish their statement, or a person who stutters to finish their statement without cutting them off? No, I can't. My children were raised in a family involved in TV in many different aspects, so they knew from practically birth it's all be. There you go. They never idolized anyone famous. Oh, Elena, win! That is a great win. It's a good thing my kids grew up and moved out, so I had more room for my crafts. Now I need a bigger home. Oh, what was it? There was one that I saw that said it was a sign in an Ollie's. It was actually a sign in an Ollie's that said it's not hoarding if it's craft supplies. They actually put that over the American crafts table in Ollie's. I thought that was too funny. I have a picture of it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but yeah. So yeah. My husband and I, we have it's just my husband and I. We have a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. Well, 2.5 bath house, 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath house with a great room, a family room, and a living room. And it's just the two of us. And we have still managed to fill that house with all of our little things that we do because my husband is just as much a person who likes crafts as I am. He's specifically focused on the 3D pen crafting though. He doesn't do multiple crafts. He just does the 3D pen crafting, but he's got that. But he also does model building and he also really loves sci-fi. Oh my gosh, my husband is far more into sci-fi than I am. And he just absolutely loves sci-fi. So we have all sorts of sci-fi stuff. So we've got this 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath house with a family room, a living room, a great room, a kitchen, and a dining room. And it's just like, we're full. We don't even have a guest room. He has an office. I have a craft room. There is a Dragon Con room. We have a bedroom. And then the cats have a room. It's just too funny. It's just way too funny. There's no guest bedroom. We don't have a place for anybody. 5 bedrooms and we don't have a place for anybody. You know, I think that's funny. But yeah, so yeah, we need a bigger house at some point in time too, because my crafts, these Ollie's things have just absolutely overrun my house so much. Just absolutely overrun my house so much. There's laughing faces. Okay, so how long have I been on now? Oh my gosh, I've been on for like an hour and a half. Sounds like a perfect house. Yeah, we love our house. We were in the middle of the country, which I really liked a lot, but urban advancement has started to really encroach upon our house, which I don't like at all. I like to be out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't like to have the extra people coming around. You know, I don't like it. It's not something that I'm interested in. You know, especially now that I have all these mental health issues, it's not something that I want. I'm just not into it. Just no. You have to show us what he makes. Oh, I will. I'm hoping one day, because I remember when I bought the microphones, which I'm not using, which I should be using because, you know, item number 972,468 on today's to-do list is to learn how to use those microphones so I can attach them to my iPad, my iPad is running YouTube, and I have my phone over here where I'm looking at all the chat thing. Oh, you know what? That's what it is. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm such an idiot. All this time, the entire time that I've been talking to y'all, I keep on hearing something in the side of my ear, and I thought it was because my friend had the TV on downstairs. I had the volume just slightly up on my phone. So I'm hearing me. Oh, I'm such a doofus. Yeah, I'm such a doofus. Yeah, that is all of Florida, Kelly. That really is all of Florida. Oh, no, he has no problem with it. We just haven't done it yet because I would like to have a Mr. and Mrs. Chatty or a Mr. and Mrs. Crafty, maybe. I don't know. But Chatty and Mr. Chatty, I don't know how you'd say that. But I'd like to have one where he's talking because he has insights too. He has been the other side of this past 3 years of me being a shut-in. He has been the other side of the spectrum because he has been the one that has had to take on every responsibility of anything that goes on outside the house. I mean, for the first probably 2 years, for about the first 2 years, 2 months, I could not leave the house. And if I had a doctor's appointment, he literally had to drag me to the car. Just stepping out the front door was horrendous. So he had to take over everything that happens outside the home. If there was something that had to be picked up at the post office, he had to do it. If there was grocery shopping to be done, he had to do it. If there was something that needed to be picked up for a car, or if the car needed to have maintenance done on it, he had to do it. He had to do everything outside the house because I would not leave the house. And I would like for you to be able to ask him some questions about his side of this journey that we've been on for the last 3 years, because I know that he has input and he has insight that I don't have. And you know as well as I do, if you've watched any of my shows, that I am absolutely enamored at how wonderful my husband has been. My husband is not a fair weather husband. My husband has been with me through thick and thin. He has stuck with me with all of the issues that I have had, and he stuck with me with all of the things that I have, all of the changes that have gone on in our life, because it's a huge change when one person all of a sudden does not leave the house ever. And so he's had to deal with that, and he's got a different perspective than I do. I have the perspective of someone who's terrified to walk outside the door. He has the perspective of living with someone who can't go outside. And so I would like for y'all to be able to talk to him. The CCs. I like that, Kelly. Yeah, that's good. We're the CCs. I despise the shows that are cruel. I agree with you. I despise the shows that are cruel too. There was one that was like an American Idol, but would vote to keep the word. Oh, I missed that one. I'm glad I missed that one. They didn't tell the people in the show. Some of them were high. Oh, they did that to kids? Oh, see what I mean by there being so many problems with mental health in this country? I mean, my gosh, that is an awful thing to do to a high school kid. That's just wrong. I mean, high school kids, they don't have the wherewithal to bounce back from that. You know, one of the things that I always knew is when I had a kid in my classroom that they came with baggage. And if I wanted a kid to learn something in my classroom, I had to be respectful of the baggage that they had and help them, you know, be able to maybe push that aside for a moment so that my science could get into their heads. Because if I couldn't get their baggage out of their heads, they weren't paying attention to me. That's one of the reasons that I made my classes so fun and so funny, was because I wanted them to, you know, be able to, for a moment, not have to deal with any baggage that they felt outside of my classroom. That's a horrible thing that they did to high school kids. I can't believe that, Elena. That breaks my heart. I just moved from over 2,000 square feet to an 850 square foot house, and I just started into all these artistic crafts. Oops. Yeah, Susan, that's an oops. I have 400 plus square foot shed for storage. Yay! At least you have that for. So you have a 1,200 square foot house, but a full third of that is storage. I love that. That's great. I do. That's great. I love that. My problem is I've never seen a craft I didn't want to at least try. I agree with you there, Elena. I just picked up the wire jewelry kit. Oh, you got the wire jewelry kit. Yay, I'm so glad. That was the first time I'd seen that when I went to the Ollie's in Orange City yesterday. Yesterday? Is today still Friday? Today's still Friday. So when I went to the Ollie's in Orange City yesterday, that was the first time I'd seen that wire wrapping one. I just picked up from Ollie's to get the jig. By the way, did anyone realize they spelled... No, I did not realize they spelled jewelry wrong. That's funny. Okay, Elena, that's too funny. If you would, please, Elena, put a picture of them misspelling jewelry in the Facebook group. For those of you that are still watching, there is a Facebook group for the Chatty Crafty Facebook group. We are a very fun group. We are very craft-oriented. We are very helpful. We like, being helpful and offering great deal of support and encouragement. And we also tell each other where to buy cheap stuff. So we're a very frugal crafting group. I will put it that way. You know, you're not going to hear us talk a whole lot about 49th and Main and all these other ones. We're going to talk about the scores that we've gotten at Ollie and Temu and stuff like that, and AliExpress and places like that. So there is a Facebook group. It is in the link. The link is in the description of this video already. I did put it in there before I started the live. Another pop-up ad. Darn it. My problem with diversity craft. It seems you are lucky to have each other. Yes, we are. My husband and I are very lucky to have each other. You would like to find that that wire kit? I hope you do find it, Kelly. It just showed up here. That was the Orange City store, which is halfway between Daytona and Orlando. It's kind of hard to say which Ollie's is actually closest to our house because we're kind of equidistant to the Orange City, the Daytona, the Melbourne, the Palm Bay, is it Palm Coast or Palm Bay? The one south of Melbourne, and the Sand Lake store. We're kind of in the middle of all of that. So we really don't have a closest Ollie's. Oh, Castleberry is in that list too. We don't really have a closest Ollie's because none of them are actually close to us. It's a drive to get to any of them. But yeah, so I do get the opportunity to go to several different ones. So good luck. I hope you do find that wired kit, Kelly. I really do. Yes, one of the kids from our local high school, this poor kid was already having a hard time. Oh no, that breaks my heart. Oh, I had one kid. I firmly believe in being authentic. It doesn't do a kid any good to make up reasons to praise them. You have to have authentic reasons to praise them. And I had this one kid that I had him in 8th grade, and his 5th grade math teacher absolutely destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him. He hated all school and all teachers because this 5th grade math teacher was an absolute 4-letter word that I can't say. Yeah, it's a bad 4-letter word, but she was just awful to him. And over the course of the year that I had him, he started out being an absolute pill in my class. And I got to the point where he was no longer a pill, but he didn't do anything. And then I got him to the point where he'd at least put his name on the paper. And I would say, this is great. I'd walk by him and he'd have his name on the paper and I'd say something. I'd point to his name on the paper and I'd say, I like where you're going with this. Literally, I'm just pointing to his name on the paper. But I say, I like where you're going with this. It wasn't, you need to get busy. It wasn't, time's going to run out on you. It wasn't, this is part of your grade. It was like, I like where you're going with this. You've made a start. I'm going to validate the place that you are. And eventually it got to the point where he would do work in my class. And I didn't need to, I could say, well, really consider this word, because I think if you changed this word to another one, you'd have the absolute correct answer for this. So, it was this guiding kind of learning. And then we did student-produced videos. And the first thing that I gave them was a storyboard to do. And he and his partner did the absolute best storyboard of all the storyboards in all of my classes. And I hung it on the wall and I said, this is the best. This is the goal to which you need to achieve. This is what you're striving for when you make your storyboards. This is what you need to do. And that kid beamed. Just absolutely beamed because he knew he'd earned it. It wasn't just some silly platitude given to him by somebody who was just trying to get them out of their classroom. It was honestly earned by that kid. And he beamed. 3 years of sitting in classes hating school. He gets to me and he likes school again. And then he gets to his 9th grade teacher and they destroy him again. And he dropped out. And it just absolutely breaks my heart to think about him because it was not fair. I worked so hard to regain that student, to have their 9th grade teacher rake him over the coals one more time. And he quit. He dropped out. So angry. So angry. My brother's 5th grade teacher ruined him, and he gave up trying. Yeah, see, that's it. He went from trying so hard and being excited in 5th grade to minimal work and getting by from then on. Like, why bother trying hard? I know. I hate it. That's good to know. Thanks for sharing that. You're welcome. Oh, that's to Elena. Okay, the wire kit jig has terrible reviews, but I hate taking the reviews as gospel. I will let you know there is very little in it. The jig is small, but a decent price. Okay. Thank you, Elena. We appreciate that. Very much so. But yeah, it's like, I can't remember what staff development person it was. It's somebody who got really rich and famous on being a teacher staff development. and or staff leading teacher staff developments. But she said that she worked really hard with the kids and everything, but she was really sad at the end of the year because she said she was in room 106, and everybody asked her why she was so sad, and she said because of the teacher in 206. That kind of thing. And it is. I mean, it is. Our kids deserve better. American youth, the United States of America, our youth deserve better. And they're not getting it. And the way the teaching system, the way teaching is structured, it is not structured for the people who know what they're doing. It is structured to bring new people in because at some point, the United States decided that it was better to have a warm body as a teacher than to have a competent body as a teacher. And they started rewarding the lesser and the lesser and not rewarding the greater and the greater. I've already told you that there were 2 years in my teaching career, I think it was my 11th year and my 17th year, where first-year teachers earned more than I did. And that's not fair to these seasoned teachers who know what they're doing. I will openly admit, and I have, I think, openly admit on this channel, my first year of teaching, I sucked. I was so bad. Oh my gosh. My first year, if I could line up every kid that I taught my first year of teaching, I would line them all up and I would give each and every one of them a fully, absolutely sincere apology as to how much I sucked. I was so bad. Oh, I was bad, but I got better. Teaching is not something you can learn in a college classroom. It is something that you literally have to learn in the trenches in a school classroom. I got better. I got really good at it. And then I got shoved to the side, kicked to the corner, and suffered the worst trauma of my life from an administrator that made me a shut-in. How is that helping the American youth? I mean, seriously, how is that helping the American youth? I just don't know. Ollie's had a huge swirl of curling ribbon. Ooh, I haven't seen curling ribbon. I've never seen New York ribbon this big. Had to be 1,000 feet. Wow. It said normally $120 being sold for $14.99. No, I don't think the entirety of Chatty Crafty could use that up in a lifetime. Oh my gosh. Well, even now teachers have their hands. Oh, I know it's gotten so much worse. To teach to the tests, the students don't even read the whole books here. Yeah, it's Susan, it's gotten so much worse. Even in the 3 years that I've been out of teaching, it's gotten so much worse. Some have teachers don't need to be teachers. Oh yeah. The lady who kicked the kids out because they did one thing that just irritated her, and she told them not to come back to her classroom at all, to find someplace else to be. And what was really awful about that is because they were inner city urban kids. These were kids who were at risk just because of where they lived. And this woman's kicking them out of her classroom. What are they going to do? They can't go outside. It's dangerous for them to be outside. They can't get caught where they're not supposed to be because then they'll get suspended and then they're outside of the school. I mean, the school was literally a safe place for these kids. And this teacher was literally kicking them out of her classroom. And she was teacher of the year, but I wasn't. She was teacher of the year twice, but I wasn't. I don't get it. I had fabulous teachers for the most part. Unfortunately, the system has lowered the standards. Yeah, it has. I get the shortage is real, but like medical professionals, just putting bodies there isn't going to fix it. It's not going to fix it. And in the state of Florida, I don't know if it's still on the books, but for a while there, if you had a military background and 60 hours of college, you could be a teacher. So what? Wait, what? Okay, I had to have 124 hours of college. I had to have graduated with a full degree in order to be a teacher. Every teacher up until that point had to have a full college level degree, bachelor's of something. Mine happened to be bachelor's of science, but bachelor's of education worked too. And you had to have a full 4-year degree in order to be a teacher. And now they're sitting there saying, oh, look, you served in the military. You're qualified to be a teacher, number one. No, military and classroom is not the way to run a classroom. That's never going to work, ever. It's just not going to work. You're going to have kids rebel against you so hard because they didn't sign up to be treated like they were in the military. They didn't sign up to be there in the first place. And for the most part, they don't want to be there. You know, it's a delicate balance to get kids to want to be in your classroom. And then to only have 60 credit hours and to be teaching math? Are you kidding me? I mean, our kids are bad enough at math to begin with. Math and science, it just boggled my mind. And then for a while, if you were the wife of somebody from the military and had 60 hours of college, you could be a teacher in the state of Florida. Like, oh, we're getting even worse now. So, yep, yes, even some people in the medical field don't need to be there either. I agree. For many reasons, I homeschooled my children. I have a bachelor's in education. Good on you, Susan. Good on you. If I'd had any kids, I don't think I would have homeschooled them, but I think that every teacher in the building would not have been overly fond of me. Just because my kid would be the one standing in the back of their kindergarten room going, no, the three primary colors are yellow, cyan, and magenta. The three primary hues are yellow, cyan, and magenta. When you say color, the three primary colors are red, green, and blue. Because you have to talk about light, and light is a color, but hue is a pigment. So if you're talking about the pigments, it's yellow, cyan, and magenta. Why do you think you buy CYM ink for your printer? And why do you think you buy RGB monitors for your computer? It'd be like, okay, you need to sit down now. I'd be in so many teachers' conferences, and I'd be sitting there going, well, my kid's right. I mean, what do you want me to do? Tell them to lie? I don't think so. Yeah, that would have been bad. But I don't have kids. I don't have any kids because the cycle of abuse ended with me. My mother was abused. My mother's mother was abused. My mother was abusive. The cycle of abuse ended with me. I specifically decided not to have any kids because I was not going to take the chance of being abusive. And every now and then I feel some of my mother's insanity come out, and I'm really glad that I made that decision to not have kids because I wouldn't want to put any kid through what I went through. So I just didn't have kids. That was it. It was done. The cycle of abuse ended with me. For many reasons, I homeschool my kids. I already read that. The big problem in this country with many professionals is people are chasing a job for money and benefits. People used to go to career. Agreed, Elena. You're absolutely right. They're chasing a job for money and benefits. People used to go for careers they had a calling to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, people, I don't think it's fair what this country's done to people. Because not only are people chasing salary and benefits, but the salary and benefits are getting farther, the carrot is getting farther away and smaller in this country. And I don't think that's fair. I think that, wait, I might be deleting this. Did my face just show up? I know it's upside down right now. I know you don't see anything. I just need to see if my face showed up. Because the thing fell off again. And I'm waiting for it to show up where it fell. I might be deleting this. Wow, it's way behind. Way behind. Way behind. It hasn't even fallen yet. Wow, this is like a minute behind at this point. Or maybe I'm behind. Oh, I'm behind. Oh, I was behind. I wasn't even where I was. Oh, stupid advertiser. Hold on, people. I know you can't see anything. I know my thumb's over the screen. I know that. I'm trying to figure out if my face just showed up because the stupid iPad fell. Hey, did my face show? Did you see?
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice?
I was answering a message.
Oh, okay. All right, here it is. I can keep going. All right. Sorry about that. We're back. Sorry about that. I know your face didn't show. Okay, no, I'm good. All right, we're back. The iPad fell off again. Like I said, this is a very precarious way that it's being set up there, but good. I'm glad my face didn't show. Of course, now we've got like a minute and a half of me with my thumb over the camera. Sorry about that. You're safe. I didn't see you. Okay, good. Good. Sorry about that. It's just, you know, I know from the stories, there are people out there who know who I am if they're listening to this, but right now there's only like 15 people here. I know from the stories, there are people that might know who I am. I know from my voice, there are people who might know who I am, but it's not confirmed until I show my face, which is why I'm absolutely not showing my face. Like I said, if I get up to 50,000 subs or something like that, then I've got security in numbers, and I can do that and not feel like I'm being, like I could be persecuted from that because there's safety in numbers, that kind of thing. Good, I'm still a mystery. Ooh, I'm the woman of mystery. Mystery and intrigue. Woo-hoo-hoo. So anyway, oh wow, I'm still looking at this. Okay, there we go, we're back, all right. But yeah, so I don't even remember what I was saying. My panic went straight through the roof when my iPad fell. So I have no idea what I was saying. I have made so many of these. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. It's just having prosopagnosia. One of the reasons that it's an issue is having prosopagnosia is I have two very acute, traumatic events that happened in my life. My mother put me in this situation both times. It was very acute. They both involved somebody of the opposite gender. And you can just fill in whatever blank you want at that point. It's probably not as bad as what actually happened. And having prosopagnosia and knowing that those two people are still out there, I don't know what they look like. I could literally go up and talk to my assailant and have no idea. None. My assailant, one of them is 6 years older than I am. One of them is 22 years older than I am. I could literally go up to these people and have a conversation with my assailants, and I would never, ever know. That is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I dealt with that when I was going out. I dealt with that when I was going out into the outside world, that I could literally be talking to one of the two assailants that were involved in my youth. And, you'll be my bodyguards. Thank you, Elena. I appreciate that. I really do. And that's what I mean, safety in numbers. When I get up to 50,000 subs, I don't think I will have such a problem showing my face because there will be the security in the number of people that are subs to my channel. There will be that extra bit. And if I get up to 50,000 subs, I'm already monetized. That would help me out a lot, that I could afford to, do whatever I need to do in order to help myself be safe. That kind of thing. It is awful, and like I said, alive loudly so others don't unalive quietly. I have 48 plus years of horrendous trauma, chronic trauma from my mother, from coworkers, from administrators, from, every adult that just never understood that I didn't even understand that I was autistic, but never bothered to listen to me when I told them that I had prosopagnosia. Never bothered to believe that I was telling the truth. And it kills me that these are teachers who are supposed to accommodate people with learning disabilities. I have a learning disability. Did I get any accommodation from these adults? No. I mean, how am I supposed to believe that you are accommodating the special ed students in your classroom if you won't even accommodate the special ed adult that you work with who point blank told you that she was special ed? Whew. Thank you, Kelly. I thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Wow, Kristen, Connecticut. This is the first time you've said anything. You've been a lurker all this time. Hi, Kristen. It is, no, Kristen. I'm not saying your name right. Kristen, Connecticut, I'm assuming. But thank you so much for the hugs. And welcome to the Chatty Crafty Guild. We are a wonderful group of people, and we're so glad that you're here. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not fun, but again, alive loudly. Once you've gone through everything, once you've, covered the hot coals and passed through the gates of Hades, walked all the way across and come out the other side, and you're still kicking, make sure that everybody knows you're still kicking. Because alive loudly so other people don't unalive quietly. Make sure that people understand that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if they don't see it yet. Because, and I know I keep saying this, I'm going to say this over and over again, where there's life, there's hope, and someone will notice if you stop showing up. Somebody in the drive-thru will notice when you stop going by. Somebody at the gas station will notice when you stop filling up with gas. Somebody at a restaurant will notice when you stop coming in. There's that story going around social media right now about that guy who went in to eat every Friday, and one Friday he didn't show up, and a guy that worked at the restaurant went and sought him out and saved his life. Somebody will notice. Somebody knows. Thank you. I enjoy that. Thank you. I love that. I love lurkers. I mean, I understand that there is a limited number of spoons, and sometimes the only thing that people can do in a YouTube video is just watch it. I'm fine with that. I appreciate you being here. If you are a lurker, you are so welcome to be a lurker. That is absolutely wonderful. If you want to chat, you are so welcome to do that. If you want to like the stream, you are so welcome to do that. I'm not going to ask anybody to do anything that they're not comfortable doing, because I know that people have certain limitations in certain areas, and I'm going to accommodate whatever it is that you need. All right. This is a fully accepting group. We love authenticity. I have been trying to count these things for like the last 3 minutes, and I have not done it yet. I'm sitting here, I'm just going through them, and I'm not counting. I'm just sitting there looking at them. I have no idea how many I've gone through. All right, let me count these. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Why do I have a number that's not divisible by 4? They should be divisible by 4, because each one of these sheets, when I cut it up, gives me 4 pages. I should have a number that's divisible by 4. Is there one hiding somewhere? What in the world is going on? I didn't throw any away. I've got all these little bits and pieces that I've had to cut off the sides because I'm not cutting them very well. See all my little bits and pieces that I've collected, but I don't know. 1, 2, skip a few. You're right, Doris. 1, 2, skip a few. Yeah, yep, that's funny. All right, well, okay, so I have an odd number of them, or I counted one twice, or I didn't count one enough. I don't know. Maybe fell when the camera did. Oh, that's a good idea. It might have. Well, I can't actually go low because the camera is seeing the area down here, so I can't really put my head down there. But yeah. Oh, you want to know another little trick about another little behind the scenes trick on my video? You'll notice that sometimes I'm wearing a black bracelet and sometimes I'm not. If I don't have that on, my hair is up because that's actually a hair tie. If I do have that on, my hair, if that I am wearing it, my hair's down. Just, just another little behind the scenes tidbit. I actually got that hair tie in Atlanta over Labor Day, and I've been using the same one ever since. So I've gotten definite, and I even borrowed that one. It's not even, I didn't even pay for it. I borrowed that one. So whoever bought those, they're good. They got their money's worth. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, but that's a little bit about, where I am and why I do this. Like I said, this started out as therapy. This started out as something therapeutic for me. I use a hair tie the same way. Yay! Susan, we're twinsies. If I had any common sense, I would be working on things I have to make. I have to make while I'm on here. You know what? If you were doing that, though, Elena, you wouldn't be able to chat. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there, setting it on the table, letting you look at it, letting you know that that's one of the things about if you're working on something, you can't chat as much. I'm just saying. But yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate where this channel is going. I really do. I have let it grow authentically. I've started to put up videos of Baby Bear on my shorts because he's cute and funny and he talks to me every time I'm in the kitchen. It's always a two-way conversation, so I've just started putting them up. So I'm starting to get more subs from my Baby Bear videos, but I make sure to tell people that the shorts are Baby Bear. My long form has nothing to do with the cats. Usually, I mean, they show up and stuff, but it's not really about them. It's about crafting. And, that's starting to get me a few more subs too, which I appreciate. And if all you want to watch is the cat content, go for it. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Baby Bear and I have an awful lot of conversations. Baby Bear is a very good listener, and he meows back to let me know that he's listening. That's so cute. I think he's adorable. My cat eats hair ties. I had to be, oh yes, Kelly, same, absolute same. Absolute same. Have to be very careful with the hair ties because just no. And you're welcome, Amira. You're absolutely welcome. I'm not sure what you're thanking me for, or if you're even thanking me. You might not be thanking me. You might be thanking someone else, but you're welcome. I'll take credit for it. You're welcome. I just had Moana go through my head with the song that The Rock sings. You're welcome. I can't sing it. I will totally get a copyright strike if I start singing a Disney song. There's absolutely no question about it. I will totally get a copyright strike if I start singing a Disney song. But yeah, there was that one. That's the one that went through my head. So I don't want a copyright strike. I really don't. I've been online for 2 hours now. I have no idea if anybody's even going to watch this after the fact. It's quite possible, but they won't. But that's okay too. I knew that this one had the potential to be a longer one because I wasn't going to limit what I said or how long I said it. So, it is what it is. I'm just sitting here stamping things out. This isn't what I wanted to do, but you know what? With this thing falling with me just stamping, I'm really glad I'm not trying to do paper cutting. And I don't know if you can see it, but over here on the side, I actually have the Viver sitting on the foot of my ring light because I couldn't get it to stand upright. I enjoy watching your truly authentic self. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. I think that I don't know. I don't know what I love. I love all of this. There we go. I love all of this. This is all really cool. And I keep on saying it. I keep on coming back to it. If I had not had a willing participant in Noob with a Mink, I don't think I'd still be doing this. So Amira, thank you. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Your support of my channel has been stellar and unparalleled, and I just cannot thank you enough. I really can't. I agree, but my grandson is in need of crochet baseballs, and I have to make about 8 hair scrunchies, also about 20 gifts to wrap, birthday and Christmas gifts. You want to come and help? Oh, you know what? I'm really good at wrapping presents, but 6 Oh, okay. I was hoping that it wasn't a huge number. You can crochet a little bit and then talk. Crochet a little bit and then talk. I mean, it's up to you. You do you. You know what you need to do. You do you. I don't think I'm going to be on much longer because nobody's really asking me any more questions, and this was supposed to be a Q&A. What did I say I was going to talk about? What does it say in the thumbnail for this? Oh, I talk about haul. I said something about haul. Oh, look, this is part of my Temu haul right there. I got this from Temu. It's part of my haul. This is as well. This actually goes with it. Wait, where are they? That's not them. I have them. This actually, nope, darn it. Ooh, I almost said a bad word. Oh, no, this is the right one. This goes with it. Look, I've got the die cuts that go with these particular things. This from my Temu haul. There, I said haul. All right, I think I've talked about everything that I said I was going to. We would all, yeah, you're absolutely right, Kelly. We would all help if we could. We really would. I'm really, 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 really astounded and pleased and absolutely stunned by the community that's growing around this channel. And I love that it is authentic. I've had 2 people offer to help me buy subs, and I told them both no. I don't want to buy subs. I want authentic viewers. I would rather have a low number of subs who are authentic to my channel than a high number of subs who are just numbers, I have to count. Oh, you have to count. Okay. Yeah, that's true. You do have to count stitches, don't you? Yeah, see, I honestly believe that if I tried to crochet anything other than a chain, I would end up tearing the whole thing apart so many times. I mean, to this day, I have not been able to put together a flat pack thing of anything without taking it apart at least once. And one time I had to take it completely apart and start over because I messed it up. And I'm surprised that my friend isn't laughing from downstairs right now because we did it today. We put together a table and had to take it almost completely apart and put it back together again. of all the screws that I had put in. She just sent me a message that says verified LMAO. But yeah, we put it together, and we had put in like something like 18 screws into it, and had to pull out all but 4. Had to go all the way back to almost the beginning and fix it. It was so silly. But yeah, I couldn't do it. Cricket. I am wondering if you're setting up your Cricut light. I haven't set it up yet. I need to. If you're asking me, I haven't set it up yet. I do have it, and I want to set it up, and I want to set it up in my craft room so that I can use it as the light instead of that bar light that I keep using, because that bar light keeps reflecting, and I really don't like this ring light because it gives this ring reflection, which is why I don't have the top over here, because I know that the top gives a reflection. So it's all matte over here now. But yeah, someday I'll put up my Cricut light. You guys need to get those lights up. They are fantastic. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, we do. You're absolutely right. We absolutely do. So anyway, I appreciate everybody. I really do. Everybody who watches, everybody who likes, everybody who has subscribed, everybody who chats, everybody who lurks, all of you. I absolutely adore that. I already ate mine. She said she's going to eat my dessert. It's like, tough, too late. I already ate it. Oh, and it's terrible. It's way too dry. You don't want it. I'll eat it for you. No, really, I'll save you. It's tiramisu, and it's delicious. They put enough coffee on it to make it wonderful, but that's one of the things that they have. I have PTSD from a place scarf I made from ripping it out so many times. Yeah, see, that's one of the reasons that I don't do fiber craft, is because I'd be seam ripping and I would be not ripping the entire time I was doing it, because I sit there and I get ahead of myself, and then I have to go back behind myself so I can try to get my head of myself again, and then go back behind myself again and go back ahead of myself again. I have so much respect for people who do fiber crafts. It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. I mean, just unbelievable. Some of the things that people do with yarn and fabric is just mind-bogglingly gorgeous, stunning, awesome, astounding. I can't do it. I know I can't. I know my limitations, and fiber craft is one of them. So, yep. This has been restful and nice to be visiting with all of you ladies. Thank you. You're welcome, Susan. Yeah, I've been on for 2 hours, so I'm going to get off now, and I'm going to go downstairs, and I'm going to visit with my friend, because, I mean, I am in her house, so I should visit with her. So she just yelled up that it's okay. No, I'm still coming down to visit with you, because besides, I might get part of your tiramisu. Nope. She said nope. So anyway, thank you so very much, everybody. I am so appreciative of all of you. I'm going to end this now. I hope that you have had an enjoyable evening just interacting with me. Next week is Christmas week. It's questionable what, if anything, I'm going to put up next week. But even if I don't put up any videos next week, I will be back the week after that. And I hope that I hope that everybody has an amazingly enjoyable holiday season, whether that's Hanukkah, whether that's Kwanzaa, whether that's Saturnalia, whether that is Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope it is an amazing holiday for all of you. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you so very much for being authentic and being who you are. And cheers and happy crafting.